Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Whoa, hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry. Subscribe and like if you can, please, or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.
And we're live.
Hello. You guys look familiar. Do I know you?
No,
Yeah, right?
Sorry, have no idea.
Stranger danger.
Absolutely.
Surrounded by strangers.
As Chris is just laying back, just feed the baby.
That's it. Say hi.
Bad duty.
Oh, hi. Go that way. Say hi. Hello.
Like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I
This is how
I
I
don't
gotta
want to
do
get
shows.
interrupted.
This is it. This is the new way.
Look at the hair.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Little head of broccoli right there. Oh.
Man,
So what's up, everybody? I missed you guys.
right? It's been a
it's
crazy,
been a long
3
time.
months?
Been quite a
Feels-
while.
It feels longer. When was the last time we've been?
Right
Well,
before
we
Christmas.
did.
Since
We did-
Daryl ended.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
the end of Daryl, and that was it. So that was
Yeah. October.
over. Yeah,
Was it that long?
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
I think so.
Yeah, because I watched the finale at Comic-Con.
Okay.
And Chris, I don't know
So-
when because some of those you weren't able to get in on, so
Yeah.
I don't remember for sure which one. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
been too long. That's what is the answer.
Yeah.
December, January, February. Yeah, wow. We're like almost 4 months, I guess. 3.5, 4 months.
You know, the holidays, life
Yeah.
in general.
A baby.
You know,
Nothing major.
But so we're back, obviously, and we're back for a big reason. Our buddy Rick returned.
finally.
In spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
What I gotta say, like the beginning, so like the depression they hit right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it
Oh.
was bad enough that they put a disclaimer at the beginning and the ending of
Yeah.
the episode about
I
suicide.
think in the
and
middle
depression.
too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like,
that was good. Good that they do that because that's very triggering for some people. So
Yeah.
yeah, but just shows you how depressing this episode. Like elements of this episode were.
right.
We're not
Yeah,
supposed to
but-
see Rick like that.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And it was you go from that, and then you get to I mean, for me, it was exciting to see like comic Rick. Like he loses his hand, the sacrifice to take the hand off. So like that for me was like pretty much, I don't want to say the highlight, but number one highlight out of the show for me was to see that happen, because we always heard, oh, we can't do it, budget reasons, blah blah blah. But it was like, wait, you could do it to Aaron. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So I was happy to see them bring that to life.
Mhm.
So
Well, Andrew Lincoln said that he bullied everybody,
Yeah.
and he's been bullying them for years to get that to
Yeah.
happen. But with a $13 million per episode budget, you can do those things.
right,
You
right,
can make those kind of
That still
demands.
blows my mind.
yeah.
hmm
Now, okay, I didn't read the comics. How did he, when did he do it in the comics?
It was early. The governor
yeah.
did it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
Yeah. So the majority of his story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is, if you think about it, I mean, even though this was at the very beginning of this show,
Yeah.
so the fact that they did it early on and everything, I just, the whole flashback thing with the memories of him, like with Michonne on a park bench and like all that stuff. I
Like a
didn't.
agree.
weird fantasy.
Yeah, that
I
was
was
just,
That was just
confused.
dreams.
Yeah.
that was just
dreams.
him kind of like, okay. I wasn't sure. I'm like, wait, I don't remember this.
Yeah. When did this happen?
Flashback.
And see,
Yeah.
I love that because I thought that was, it was him having these dreams about how things could have been, without the outbreak, without that, they just met and all that kind of stuff. But I really liked it because we never saw like this flirty courtshipy Rick and Michonne. So I loved it. I thought it was a fun, especially up against what he was really feeling and things. So it was like this, you had this very big gap or transition or whatever there that he's feeling suicidal here, but then in his dreams,
Right.
he's with her. So I liked that. I thought it was really neat.
I know a lot of people. I saw a lot of people on Twitter and things like that that were saying that it was unnecessary. But I think from a storytelling perspective, I think it was important.
Yeah.
Because one, it's showing the thought processes that Rick is having to go through to keep himself sane. And he, like Renee pointed out, he is trying to envision what life could have been, and had the world not fallen to shit, what his life could have been like with Michonne. And also, I think it's a way that he's keeping her memory alive. And so I think it was a beautiful storytelling point that added a lot of value to the episode, because I know a lot of people kept saying it's unnecessary, and no, I think it was completely necessary, and I think it was done very well.
I think it was a good reminder to show how much they love each other, because it's been so long since we've seen them together. And so I think it was a good reminder of their relationship is one of those ones, I wrote that in an article where I was like, when they first met, it was far from love at first sight. It was complete. And they came together because they had a common enemy. And then as they grew, their friendship grew, but it grew out of respect. It grew out of trust. And then it turned into love, so it was, I don't know. I thought it was a great reminder of this epic love story, that this is at the heart. That's what this series is. Yeah. So, and I really I heard some negative about the narration from Rick too. Yeah. And I thought that was weird, because for one thing, I thought it was endearing, because it's like we're reading his feelings and thoughts, or we're hearing him read his thoughts to Michonne. But at the same time, it's filling in the gaps for us of what has gone on for him, And so we're seeing these things, these thoughts, these feelings, all the stuff he was going through the past. It ended up being I think a total of 7 years, I think, since he left the series. Is
when they broke it down from a trilogy, theatrical trilogy, down to the 6 episodes, I was like, how are you going to tell this massive story? So the fact that you mentioned the voiceover, I felt like they did a really great job in not rushing, but like condensing all of that down.
And to that point, I felt like this was one of the first storylines, again, it's just the first episode, that didn't feel rushed to me. A lot of times we feel like, oh, push, and you feel like you miss some elements, you miss some pieces, but not in this. I felt like this was paced so well. But again, first episode, but I thought it was very well done.
It was a way for them to fit, X amount of years into a 45-minute episode. You know what I mean? Like, that was really well done, because like Renee said, usually it feels rushed because you have to fit so much content in such a small amount of time. And it looks like next episode we're going to see a lot of Michonne's side of things. And so it was one episode basically to get us caught up on what Rick's been up to, and the lengths that he's gone through to try to escape and make it back to who he believes only is Michonne and Judith. He doesn't know about RJ.
Right.
Right.
And so I think it was paced very well. It felt like a very natural storytelling, and it was cool to have the narrations, because when you're telling a story and you have like this, and in most cases we don't have a narration. It's the only insight we get is what the characters are saying and doing with one another. And in this case, we're getting a direct insight into how Rick is feeling and what he's thinking, which is very cool, because it's not a perspective we usually get. And you start to actually feel the depression and the anxiety that he's feeling. And I mean, like, when he cut off his hand, I mean, he used burning zombie guts to cauterize the wound. I mean, if that doesn't explain how desperate Rick was, nothing will.
I want to ask you guys a question, because I got a vibe at the very beginning. So let me ask you guys, it brought back to me, and I don't know if they try to do like a little throwback or some kind of like visionary thing for everyone. But when he's standing there in the, with the white shirt on and the black coat with the red, that red stripe and stuff. But if you think about that scene, the dark backlit scene with everyone behind him and next to him, and then that kind of like little lit area in front of them, I felt Negan's entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else kind of caught that vibe, but when I saw it, I was like, man, this is eerie familiar to when they introduced Negan and his clan.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I guess I didn't really think so much of Negan, but I did think of when Negan, he was going to force Rick to chop off Carl's arm.
Yeah.
It was all that.
Yeah.
But like you said, that wooded thing and that.
Wooded, and then he's got the
Fog.
weapon in his hand. He's got the white shirt on, and I'm like, is this some kind of weird throwback to like Negan?
There were so many Easter eggs in this episode that were so much fun. I loved, breaking those down with people and things, so that could definitely be, another nod to that. Just,
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. It looked very familiar to me. I was just like, I wonder it could have been.
Yeah.
No.
But
Is it bad? Okay.
No, go ahead.
No. Mine's not important. Go for it.
Oh no. I was just gonna say, his look in general. The way they had, I just love the look, the coat, the white shirt. He's groomed, like everything. I just like the new look of Rick Grimes.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how to put it, but I guess Negan-esque. I don't know. It's the best way I think I can put it. And I don't know if they, like I said, I don't know if there's like I don't know,
intentional
like throwback reason why or anything. Like, let's make Rick look like this, but white t-shirt, black coat. Yeah, I don't know.
This is like a new era of Rick. And I actually read one of the reviews I read. I actually have to read it. Somebody said that Rick Grimes has had more eras than Taylor Swift. Dictatorship Rick, Farmer Rick, Feral Rick, Cop on the Edge Rick, etc. So when you mentioned the white t-shirt, I was like, yeah, it's kind of fitting.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
I think that I kind of want to get your guys' overall opinions of the episode. Just how did you guys feel about the episode? Because I thought the episode was done very well. It filled in a lot of blanks. It was kind of cool for us to learn what A's and B's were. I know because there was a lot of fan theories for a long time about what A's and B's were. And we were pretty close to figuring out what it was, and we can go back and look at it. We've talked about it before. But that was kind of cool to have that little confirmation of what that was. But what did you guys think about the episode overall? Did you like it?
Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was very well done, and I really didn't have a lot of negative about it. I guess my one big negative is that they got rid of Okafor too quickly.
I'm with you on that
one. Him, but otherwise,
great.
I just think it was very well done.
Yeah, I agree, Renee, because I just started liking Okafor, and I remember watching the episode, and I was like, man, this guy's not so bad. And then he got shot, and I went, well, fuck that.
What was it that he actually got shot with? Because it's like he exploded.
Well, it was like
a rocket, but
it like protruded from his chest, and then he was toast. So I don't know exactly. What Michonne and her people got going on down there, but it's something.
I'm hoping we find out next week.
I bet we will.
That was like my favorite part of the episode.
Reminded me of? So the episode where the Reapers released that. What was that?
Oh, the sap.
The hell did that thing called?
It was like a sap bomb, wasn't it?
No, that big Hawacha.
The Hawacha. It looked like one of those rockets that would fire that thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was like, is that a Hawacha rocket?
But I think next week, and this is my opinion, I haven't watched the episode yet. I waited till we were done tonight, and then I probably will. But I feel like we're going to see this episode, we're going to see basically, Michonne's perspective, and then we'll see her side of that attack. And then we're going to end where Rick's episode ended with them meeting, and then hopefully we see a little bit more than just that shutting down, but maybe not. I don't know. So I'm excited, to see what Michonne's point of view of that helicopter attack is. It'll be very interesting. Hopefully we learn what the heck that weapon was.
Yeah, I do like that they paired him in this with another strong female lead.
Yes. I love Thorne.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I mean,
yeah,
I like that they did that because we're used to seeing him with a strong female lead. So it was very symmetrical for me. Like as far as we were talking about the episode, I felt like that made it very comfortable to see a strong female lead with with Rick. Sorry, and I don't know, and I just, it just felt normal. It felt like it was something I was used to seeing together on film. So, like I said, I love the throwback comic book style with the hand. I love the weapon, the knife that comes flying out of the fist. Like,
that's awesome.
like I would just overall, like you mentioned, the pacing, and the fact that it was, I think a runtime of 57 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 56 something. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that alone, I was excited for.
Yeah.
Because they did to me, it was very well rounded. Did a great job of bringing us back. And then through it, and then obviously right at the very end with that cliffhanger, you want to talk about a WTF moment. I was like, are you doing this already? We're doing it episode 1.
I expected it to be at least episode 3. Before we saw them together. I was sitting in this chair watching, and I saw her in the background, and that, we've seen her costume several times, and I was like, and I was like, oh, I can't believe we're doing this.
And even though technically we did see them together, it might really wind up being episode 3 where we really see them like working together.
Well, I think it might be episode 4 because that's the one
because they're saying.
Then I wrote that one, and it's very Roshone eccentric. So I have a feeling like 3 might even be maybe we'll see Jadis then and see some pieces about what she's doing. That's kind of in my mind. I don't know. But I just kind of, when they said, 4 is the one she wrote, that's the Roshone one. I thought, then what's 3? And I thought, well, maybe we're going to see some Jadis, what she's been going on, what's been going on with her. Because we do know some from World Beyond, but not everybody watched World Beyond. So
right.
I need to go back and rewatch it because like I wanted to. And now that I saw this episode, I'm like, shit, I really need to go back and rewatch it.
It was also
so anyway,
finding out that was it Omaha had fallen?
Yeah.
I mean, that was for me. That
was in World. That was in World Beyond.
Yeah.
But seeing Rick find that out though was friggin' cool. And
you're watching the newscast, of them, and I thought it was very interesting what they told everyone at the CRM and the CR. They knew what happened. You did this, and so it was very interesting to see their propaganda that they are, spewing to people. Because that was another thing. I wrote an article about the A's and B's because we got, the definitive clarification on that. But did you guys notice one thing that he left out? He left out a very important piece that I'm going to say he was not privy to. They didn't just kill the A's. They were using them for the test subjects.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He did not mention that because they were keeping that secret. That was that's like I think it was in Ithaca or something like that is where the research, and it was like an underground and all that. And that's where they developed the chlorine gas. That's, all those things. So it was a very secretive place.
That's right. Yeah.
But I feel like Okafor and everybody else, Beale, of course, knew about it, and the scientists there knew about it, but that was not any, like, we're killing the A's. No, you're testing. You're using them as test subjects with the undead. So anyways, I thought that was just interesting. And whether that comes up later or not, I don't know, but I just was like, that was a very interesting key thing he left out of that conversation.
Yeah. And that's why I thought that it was really cool, like knowing what we know from World Beyond and then watching Rick find out what happened and not getting the full story and like at least the propaganda that they're putting out to everybody is really cool, because I feel like that's going to be a major plot point in this show and the future of the CRM in the Walking Dead universe.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason they are as successful as they are at keeping this city hidden, at having their soldiers as their first line of defense. These soldiers, this is the first organized, like, I mean, you had the Commonwealth had their soldiers and things, but those guys, they weren't as dedicated. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
these guys listen to Beale, and they are, they believe in what they're doing and everything,
Yeah.
So
the Commonwealth was like a middle school baseball team compared to the CRM. Like,
exactly. Well, like even Mercer, he was doing his job because he needed to do his job, not because he necessarily believed in it.
Yeah.
But you got people, these CRM soldiers, they believe in what they're fighting for, to keep that city safe, to keep it quiet, to keep, and everything. So it's definitely very new territory in the Walking Dead universe to see this kind of organization.
Yeah. And I think it's cool too, because I think it's logical to assume that if there was a zombie apocalypse, this would happen, where you would have remnants of the military that are trying to come together and restore what was, or at least the parts of what was that they want to stay. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I think that's very cool, because in my opinion, and I think Chris and I've talked about this before, but I really think that would be a major thing in society if there was ever a zombie apocalypse, is you would see remnants of the military combining, especially higher ups like generals and admirals and stuff like that, getting together to try to preserve what was, and try to carry that on through the apocalypse.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just typing.
It's okay. You're just ignoring us. I got it.
No. I'm for once I'm able to have like YouTube up and
Yeah, have everything going.
Right.
What do we like? Some of the scenery and backgrounds they used. I wanted like the effects in this episode. I know we talked about the budget being increased and everything. So visually, everything they shot, to me, it just looked like you're watching a movie.
Yeah, it did.
This was like movie effects for me watching the episode. So I was very happy with the quality of everything, because usually we shit on some of the we shit on some of the stuff we've seen before that they've put out, which is what we're allowed to do. But I actually visually, with the episode, all the effects, everything, they were like I said, like movie. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like they were spot on, like you were watching a high quality movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think my favorite set piece was the scene where they were killing the walkers through like the little holes in the walls, where he's like kind of going in.
Yeah.
I was more so looking at the background than Rick, and I just kind of like going with what Chris was saying. It's just like high quality. Yeah. It was shot beautifully.
Yeah, very good.
I think my favorite was right before Rick cut off his arm, or cut off his hand. I loved that scene of them like just going out and clearing the field of the zombies, of the walkers, and it was just I don't know what it was, but it was so cool just to see them sweeping the forest, sweeping the woods. That was so freaking cool to me.
I think a lot of it was because we're seeing Rick. You know what I mean? Like it's everything going on, but the focal point was Rick. And I loved before they started going out, that lady's voice, and she's telling them, you volunteered for this mission, you blah blah blah, and then she's reminding them why they're doing the mission, that that's to protect our resources, to blah blah. I thought that was very interesting how she's like psyching them up for what they're about to do.
And it was cool to see Rick with a hatchet again.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, what episode is this?
Right.
Is it bad that I laughed when he fell?
Yeah.
The way
I was watching, every time they cut to the string, and I was like, waiting for it. Oh, there it is.
Like a dog when it's running from it. You're just waiting for it.
I was thinking of the kid leashes when you see them in like Walmart or Target, and they run too far ahead and they fall back. Like that's what it reminded me of.
When I was exactly 4, I went to Disney, and I was that leash kid, and I did just that.
And then I did hear a lot of funny, like things on Twitter. They're like, why didn't he just cut the tether?
Yeah. I mean,
so I don't know, like maybe it's made of some kind of material,
like steel or something.
Yeah. I don't know, but just knowing their resources and everything, maybe it is made of something that is.
That was my first thought. Was it looked like some kind of
like a high strength tensile?
Yeah, like some wire, some strong wire.
Yeah, because somebody probably tried that already.
Yeah, Rick probably tried it already.
Yeah,
I mean, how many times he tried to escape at this point?
Well, we see the fifth attempt. So yeah, he's tried a few times.
He was on that leash, and he said that he was on that leash specifically because he had multiple attempts before that. So it's like
right.
I think before we saw him, he had tried three times, and that would have been 4. And then going down in the tunnel was his 5th try,
where he found the little girl instead.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I missed something. Are we supposed to know who this little girl is? Or
no.
Okay, I just want to make sure we were.
Or wait, was it Okafor? No, wait. Where did we learn? Somewhere we learned that she was with her family and
the female.
Like Okafor killed them or something.
Thorns. Okay, so they were like a little commune of people or whatever. Right. And somebody turned and they all started attacking. Well, they live in a museum and she hid in something, but every time they were on top, their guts and their blood kept falling on her. So eventually she smelled like them and was walked out and then
look, an Easter egg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's I mean, once
literally
again,
episode 2.
Yeah,
you got a little girl involved with Rick in the beginning of a show,
and then Rick with his grenade, CDC.
Yeah. I
mean, this thing is full of Easter eggs.
It was so funny seeing him like 1 foot in the sewage drain, and he's got the grenade, and he sees her run. He's like, "Shit!" And he throws a grenade in the hole and runs away. That was really funny.
Like I can't, just can't catch a break.
Rick just can't help himself with being the hero to protect the
whoever
defenseless child specifically. You know what I mean? Like that's just
it's that sheriff training in him. You protect and serve.
I was kind of hoping I would hear him go, in his typical Rick voice saying, "Little girl." I was like, "Oh,
that would have been great."
Opportunity.
Little girl.
Accidentally calls her Coral.
Yeah, Coral.
Get in the goddamn
is the girl's name, so it works.
Oh,
we'll just adopt her.
Yeah.
The CRM doesn't know about Rick's former community yet. Yeah, I don't think they do.
Well, they might because how did Okafor know Michonne's name?
Yeah.
And how much has Jada given up?
Jadis, yeah.
Yeah, how much is Jada's, she's probably given up a ton. So who knows, really? Mm-hmm. I mean, I know they got Rick from some bridge that was in the middle of the woods. And
my thing is that the CRM is not stupid. Okay, they are comprised of former military officials, and they have to know that for somebody to survive this long, even someone like Rick, they have to have the support of a community. They could not have survived this many years by themselves. That's statistically improbable. And if they did not know where Rick came from, he would be, in my opinion, being interrogated currently, because they would have to find out if Rick's community was a threat to their existence. I got the feeling that they already know about Rick's community.
Well, how could they not? They're flying in helicopters over top of it all,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I have to imagine that the higher-ups at the CRM have some kind of map that they keep reconnaissance and they keep track of communities in the immediate vicinity of wherever they are. And it's a way of knowing, one, how many people are out there, roughly, but two, also knowing if there's anybody that's a threat to their existence. They want to keep what they have. And how do you do that? You keep track of your enemies. You keep your friends close, your enemies closer. And so I just get the feeling that they already know where Rick came from. They know how many people are there. They know everything that happened at the end of season 11 of The Walking Dead. I think they know all this already. That's just my takeaway from it, at least.
Yeah, and because Jadis has been dealing with them since at least Heath. Like we don't know how much longer before that, but Heath we know for sure, and that was what, season 5, 4,
7.
Yeah, 7, right?
Yeah, because that was the episode with him and Tara.
Right. So, okay, yeah, because that was when Oceanside was introduced. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So at least back as far as season 7 that we know, I mean, it could have been before that, but we know that that's what happened to him. So she, and they're, I have a feeling they know, they've got to know all that stuff because she would have told them, because where are you getting these people, Jadis? And, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, the helicopters, I mean, that's the, you're up there, you can see all this stuff, so I feel like just because of how big they are, and they, like you said, they know a lot more than we know that they know.
Yeah.
Ever since they introduced the CRM, one thing that kind of like has confused me is that the communities have not seen or heard more helicopter activity.
Yeah, that is one that, because it's just been very sporadic, and like that time when Rick was at the heaps and everybody thought it was a mistake, that was a, they missed it.
Yeah.
Remember that was one of the CRM's helicopters,
Yeah.
but at that time we were all like, you idiots, you didn't
we pulled a Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah.
and Rick saw one way back in the first episode. That's where the helicopter boy, which is another Easter egg. He, Morales called him helicopter boy because he's like, I saw a helicopter. They're like, you're crazy. Yep. And now he's flying a helicopter. So,
Yeah.
And they also had him in Fear. So I mean,
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, they were in Fear. I don't know, because at one point, who left with, it was, I forgot her name, her character name, but she was the one who was the reporter in real
Maggie
life.
Grace. I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Oh, Isabel?
Well, that was the CRM one.
Yeah.
I forgot
so
Maggie Grace's
name.
Al.
Right?
Al.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Althea.
Didn't she disappear with the pilot of the? So I mean,
they're running from the CRM because she defected. You don't leave the CRM. We learn that now. You don't leave.
Oh, okay. And I was even wondering if we would see them at some point, but
if they recapture them, maybe they would.
Yeah. I figured that would be a really great way to tie in Fear with this, especially since their story is so open-ended.
Right.
It would be
and
perfect.
to have Al meet Rick and be
exactly.
Yeah.
And then Rick starts talking about it, and the next thing she knows, he's like, wait, do you know Morgan? You know what I mean? Like,
well, not even just Morgan, but she interviewed so many, if you watch the Althea tape, she interviewed a lot of people that Rick knows, or not a lot, but some people that Rick knows, but Morgan especially. Yeah.
Right.
So which goes to the book that he gave him. I think Zay mentioned that also, but that book that Okafor gave them was Morgan's book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's just all these.
Love, Peace, and War. Peace and War?
The Art of
Peace.
Art of Peace, Art of War, something like that. No.
Yeah, because it's about peaceful living and not killing your enemy, no matter how evil they are. Blah blah blah.
Right.
What? Okay, so they asked. I'm sorry. She asked about Jadis. What's the deal with Jadis again? So Jadis, we all know, took Rick to save herself. She was saving Rick, but she said because she did save his life by calling him a bee because they would have killed him. So or used him for testing. So. She did in that respect give him a little bit of, grace, I guess, whatever you call it, that she did classify him as a bee to save him. But ultimately, she was trying to save herself, of course. Yep. So she trades Rick to the CRM. That's kind of her ticket, she says, to get into the, and then she just started working the program and then climbed her way up. And now she is known as Warrant Officer Jadis Stokes, which is interesting because that's Gabriel's last name.
Yep.
Interesting.
But she did take Gabriel's last name in The Walking Dead, right? I'm almost positive she did because I remember specifically mentioning that she had said her last name was Stokes.
That's the first time I've ever heard that. I'll have to do some research. First time I ever heard that was when she introduced herself as Warrant Officer Jadis Stokes. So that would be interesting to find out because she took the name Anne, that was her original, that was her name, and then she adopted Jadis as her name as the leader of the scavengers and stuff. But I never heard that, so I'd be very interested to learn that.
The heapsters.
Now you got me fucked up because I'm like 99.9%.
It's going down the rabbit hole
because they weren't together that long at all. You know what I mean? It was a very brief, and then she, of course, tried to use him as her B or A or whatever she thought he was to get, she's trying to get out of there. So she was going to use him and trade him to the CRM. Yeah. So if you find that out, I do want to know that because that would be very interesting.
So Fawn's asking about Daryl having a jacket or something that had an A on it. Now I
When
know
he-
when he was with
when
Negan, he
Negan
actually
Saviors.
used-
them.
yeah, he had
The
an A
A's
on
have
his
been, yeah,
shirt, but-
because the A's, so those A's, everybody keeps using the A as a thing, but I don't think any of that fits with this, because it was way back at Terminus, their train car had an A on it, it's just always been a symbol, but I don't think it's related. Because the Saviors have nothing to do with the CRM.
I'm thinking unless that sweatsuit that they just found it somewhere, they everyone had people who went out and scavenged.
Yeah. So
it's just a way to keep you visually intact with what's going on, I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was his savior. Yeah, that. And then Zay also with Jadis too. She is the one who she kind of helped orchestrate the attack on Omaha and the campus colony, but she basically used Elizabeth Kublik who was in World Beyond. She used her as the scapegoat for everything.
Yeah.
So that she looked like she wasn't such a bad person, but she is directly getting her orders from General Beale.
Yeah. Which we finally meet, right? I mean,
yeah, we heard of it. We heard his voice. It wasn't his voice, but a voice. And then we heard a lot about him in World Beyond, but it was, very cool to finally meet him.
Yeah.
And Ryan was excited because, he's Locke from Lost. So he was.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
I just wanted to touch on, so at the point in the episode when Rick is having a conversation with Thorne, she's talking to him about, like why he wants to leave so bad. What do you think you're going to go back to? They're not, she's not there. They're not there. We're here type. Like she's basically saying like, you're trying to fight and go back to something that doesn't exist anymore. And like everything you have is basically right in front of you. And I think it like to a point where most people at this point in the world have really just given up on everything that they ever had in the past. Mm-hmm. And to see that there's still one person that's still alive at this point and still fighting for something that was, and that might not be there anymore, but this person is a believer and he knows that his people are still there, his family's still there. I think it just shows like how hard it is for people to believe, and that, someone's willing to fight for something that's for them has been gone for such a long time. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a really cool thing, like a really cool conversation that they were able to like have and show like the difference between people who have definitely given up on what was and someone who's still fighting for it, whether he believes it there or not. Mm-hmm. And he's a believer that it's there. So,
what I was thinking of? Not to interrupt, but real quick before I forget.
No, go ahead.
What I was thinking of was in the World Beyond, Jadis identified as Jadis Stokes.
That's what I said.
Okay. That's where I was getting mixed up.
Oh, I see. You're okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. No, I was very intrigued then. I thought, oh man, I was all excited. I thought you found me another scoop there, Ryan.
No, I have to keep like 6 episodes. There are 6 series straight to my head that what happened.
7 actually.
7. Right?
You got 7. Okay, yeah. So anyway, I was like, oh man, I was so excited, Ryan. You had me very excited. I missed something. I'm like, man. Renee's writing at midnight,
No, just had a mini stroke. Don't mind me.
There's too many shows tied into one.
It is. I have to like Google things several times. Like, wait a minute, which one was that?
I don't know why. I was thinking that she took it right before she took Rick in the helicopter in Walking Dead. I don't know why I was thinking that, but it was World Beyond. You're right. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Definitely got to go back and rewatch that.
I have to watch every episode of every show all over again. I think.
Yeah.
Except for
Yeah.
First 3 seasons are okay though. You can watch that.
True. That's a good point.
And
they always hated on me because I always said the first 3 were the best.
Oh yeah,
they are.
Even 6 is. If I have to pick another one, 6 isn't the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was 6 again?
That's with John Dory and they're all in Virginia and all that stuff. So I love that chunk. Yeah. So I mean. Again, like 1, 2, and 3, then 6 would be my next. If I have to pick,
I don't know why, but 5 keeps popping in my head. I don't remember what happens in 5, but it just keeps.
Well, I could have them mixed up. Maybe I have them mixed up. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that.
I'm not the only
Isn't
one.
isn't
Well,
5
which one is the one when Madison dies? What season's that?
4?
4?
Yeah, she dies in
okay.
4.
Halfway
Wait.
through 4.
Yeah, which I get.
Yeah.
4 was crazy because that's when Morgan came.
Yeah.
We lose Dory, we lose Madison, we lose Nick.
Yeah.
It was a crazy. So yes.
Whatever season had Polar Bear in it, I liked that one.
Oh yeah.
Polar Bear?
Yeah.
The older
Was it the
guy
trucker? Was he a trucker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
that was it Lucy met him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because he was pinned in his car.
Yeah. So I don't remember what season that was, but yeah, I like that was good.
Last thing I'm gonna say about Fear before we start going off.
Yeah, I know. Like
the season finale of 4, worst villain. I think it's 4, the one with Martha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that well, I don't know if that's 4 or 5. See, I think that is,
Yeah. See, yeah, I'm really.
I think that's 5 because Morgan's in that. Remember, and that's when his eyes are all red.
Yeah.
Martha was just a psychopath homeless woman. That's all she was.
Yeah, she was a psycho though.
Brian and I used to deal with them.
Yeah, she was the worst
week.
finale.
Yeah.
Worst villain in Fear the Walking Dead, I think.
Yeah.
All right, back to this.
Sorry, we digress.
It's been a while for us. We never got to talk about Fear, so
yeah, it's true.
Fawn said, "Do you think The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead will finally all tie together and then go to the theater? Then the movies start? I don't think so.
No, the movies are done.
gone.
Yep. And I think I think that where we saw Morgan, I think that's the end of Morgan. I know we want to see that reunion between him and Rick. I don't think it's going to happen. Lenny James has said repeatedly that it would take something short of
phenomenal,
something written by God himself for him to come back, and it would have to be spectacular. And I don't think
the ones that live isn't that, I don't think.
Yeah. I think a basic Rick reunion's not going to do it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the movie theater, what happened with the films, AMC had some internal changes with their higher up people that are in charge of that kind of stuff. And they're like, why would we put this to a movie when we're going to lose control? So that's why it came back around, because they're like, we're going to keep control of Rick Grimes and The Walking Dead, because that would just open up, it would be a mess, because, even though we complain about some of the things that get done in some of these episodes or series or things like that, overall, it's phenomenal. You know what I mean? As a whole, it's a very impressive universe. And if they lose control of that, it'll just go to crap. So, but anyway, and then there was another question I saw.
Oh, Zay asked, why did Rick cut his neck? He was basically going to slit his own throat, and then he decided last minute not to.
He thought there was nothing, because he's listening to Thorne telling him, they're not there, meaning Michonne and Judith, and he doesn't know about RJ yet. And so he's just like, there's nothing to live for. And if I'm stuck here, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be part of this. And he had a moment. So it was sad. And someone above said, what about the dream sequences? We talked about that a little bit earlier, but what?
No, I was looking at that too.
Okay,
what did you guys think about Rick's dream sequences?
Yeah, so we discussed that a little bit at the beginning, but we all, I think, collectively thought that was a very neat way to show how their life could have been without the outbreak involved, and just to remind us of the love that they share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Lonnie says, think Rick has PTSD from the bridge. I'm sure he's got PTSD from a lot of stuff, honestly.
Yeah. But that bridge, man, that
even sleeps.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like how do you even? But really think about that bridge thing. The man did that assuming he was going to die, and then, oh wow, I didn't die. He
wakes up. He wakes up in a completely different place. He is no longer a free man.
He's in a helicopter. How did that happen?
I would have woken up like, oh shit.
It's like, dang it,
this wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, and there was something else that somebody said about.
In the chat?
Yeah, I'm reading. When Fawn mentioned about the tie together thing. So, Scott Gimple has said there's no imminent plans to bring everybody back together kind of thing, but he would absolutely love to see it someday. So it's not like they're not saying no, but they're just focused on, right now we've got, finishing this episode. We got Daryl Dixon coming. We got Dead City. I think they're filming, and I think they start filming in April for their second, so there's a lot of pieces right now. Cause I heard, not officially, but Daryl is probably renewed for a third season. AMC hasn't said it, but several things have reported that it's looking like that's going to happen. And so, and even with this series, they've been saying it's a 6-part series, but then, Gimple, of course, he dances around it. Well, you never know, but I don't think so, but we'll see. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a lot like early Marvel movies, where it's like you have all these separate pieces that are kind of like spread out, and then I do genuinely think that if Dead City, if Daryl Dixon, if The Ones Who Live, if all these shows pull in the ratings that Dixon and Dead City pulled in their first seasons, if these 3 shows are continue to be successful, I think they will do some kind of group up in the future to kind of close out that chapter. But I think it's very 50-50. I think it's very much on the fence. I think they could just as easily not do it as they could do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've talked about all the moving parts that have to come. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen to make that happen. You know what I mean? And a lot of these actors, I mean, they have put how many years into these characters, and a lot of them are done, just like, Christian Serrato's with Rosita. She's like, killer. I can't be, I gotta be done with her. That was her idea, to have Rosita die in that final season, because she needed that closure. And, and a lot of the other ones are just, and I'm sure there's many that would come back. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's why Lenny kind of said the things that he said about being Morgan again. I think that for him, it's that, he wants to move on to other things in his life. And I mean, I respect it because, Walking Dead came out how many years ago? You know what I mean? Like for a lot of people,
14.
that's a good chunk of life. It's a lot of time to commit to one role, and
people, they forget that Lenny James was in the pilot. He's been doing this. It was off and on.
Yeah.
But he's him, Rick, Daryl, Carol.
Yeah.
They've all been doing this since 2010.
Look at Rick, right? Andrew Lincoln took, what was it, 6-7 years? How long was it that he took a break for? I mean,
2018.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think it was six years. It took him that long to even want to think about doing a Walking Dead project again, and I don't blame him by any stretch of the imagination, especially with him being from the UK and family stuff. I get it, but it's I think a lot of people want to move on from it, and I don't blame him. I absolutely don't.
Well, he also had a stipulation that he wanted to have more to do with the episode in the show.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, honestly, after seeing episode 1, I'm very happy that that went through, because it's gonna be what listen. Him as an actor in general, he's a very good, passionate actor when you look at his body of work. So for him to come back, he wanted to be able to do his thing. Not what they wanted, but he wanted to do what he wanted. So the fact that he came back, one of the stipulation that you were going to be allowed to have creative, your own creative ability to come to the show and do what you want. Yeah. It's going to make these 6 episodes, I think, more than we were probably bargaining for.
And that's with all these 3 spinoffs that are focused on these characters from The Walking Dead. They're all executive producers on their own series. And that just gives a lot more, and like deny rights and, that kind of thing. So they're heavily involved in this, making it, more personal, more, and they always have some kind of say in it as the actor, but when you're executive producing, it's just a lot different and a lot more weight to it,
Well, even in the credits to the first episode of The Ones Who Live, it actually says written by Scott Gimple, Denai Guerrera, and Andrew Lincoln. So
yeah, because the first episode was that, and Denai writes 4, and then there's other writers too. But it's also cool if you look at the list of writers and directors. It's a very nice meld of Walking Dead veterans and new blood, which yeah. So it's and that's why everyone says the Daryl Dixon series is so good, because they didn't have anybody. I mean, there a handful of people that were Walking Dead, but the majority of the writers and that kind of stuff, they were nothing to do with the Walking Dead. Because they wanted a whole fresh perspective.
And a lot of them were French, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah. The way that, what you guys were just talking about with Andrew, writing ability, and along with Gimple and Denai, I mean, I can only imagine if you think about like putting yourself in the actor's mind, like when he finally breaks and now he's giving up and he's at the burn barrel and he's throwing away the phones with the sketches on them, and he's confessing that I tried, and he didn't succeed in everything. It's when he conveys that message as an actor in that moment, like when you're watching that scene play out, I feel like he probably wrote that, because the emotion that is conveyed through him as an actor in that scene, I feel like he wrote that whole scene. Like, I don't think anybody else wrote that scene. I think he did. And I feel like with him, you can usually pinpoint scenes that he wrote.
Yeah.
But they just hit different with him, and you can just see it, the message conveyed, expressions, body language, everything. And that's just what he brings to the table, So
like, he stepped in that role as if no time had passed.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see him dive right back into it.
I actually think that he came back stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Fresh, had a break.
Yeah.
And it's something that he got to bring his own passion to.
Yeah.
Where he didn't have that creative freedom before. Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he got to have like his say on set about things, but not like this.
Yeah. And if it is only 6 episodes, he knows I've only got 6 episodes to do this the right way, so if that's the case, that could be part of it as well.
Yeah. And
I mean, no, go ahead, Ray.
No, I was just going to say, like, to Renee's point about these 3 spinoffs and AMC really kind of realizing that it's important they have the lead actors be the executive producers. Let them have a creative say, because, and we've said this before, you have Lauren Cohen who could sit there and say, no, Maggie wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey D. Morgan goes, no, Negan wouldn't act that way. This is how he would do it. To have the actors be able to have that creative input, because the characters are written a certain way, but it's up to the actors to bring them to life. And they have to find their motivation. They have to. We've talked about this on the panels at the camp before. We asked, did you come up with some kind of backstory for your character to help you get in that mode? And they kind of have to, which is cool, And so they're the ones who have to speak for the character. They have to be the advocate for that character and what they will and won't say or will and won't do. So it's really cool seeing that they actually, as a studio, have shifted from not having them involved to having them involved, and now they're executive producing. Now they're directing episodes. I mean, that's cool to see, because I think it's paying off in dividends, because these spinoffs have been some of the best Walking Dead content we've gotten in years, and has breathed new life into it, which is very cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, piggybacking off of that, how you were saying breathe new life, so I fully agree with you on that. Do you think this might, depending on how the next 5 episodes are received, do you think this might possibly open the door for more spinoffs? Or do you think this is going to be it, and they're just going to focus on Daryl and Dead City?
They've even, Scott Gimple's even said that they have ideas for other ones. It just depends. Like even Tales of the Walking Dead, they had announced more Tales of the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Didn't really give an explanation, and that's the last we've heard of it. But it didn't even say, is it just going to be the same kind of thing? Or are we finally going to get some of those offshoot stories of characters that we know, because that's what
Right.
everyone assumed Tails, because when they kind of announced it, that's kind of what it was supposed to be. But I don't know if it was partly because the series hadn't ended yet, so it'd be kind of hard with some characters to do things without spoiling maybe some, I don't know. So because I know everybody would love to see characters, because with that kind of a formatting, with an anthology formatting, you could bring back anybody alive or dead. It doesn't matter. And show us, oh, while the group was doing this, Tyrese and Sasha went over here and did they were on a mission and this is what happened. So there's so much potential there with that, but they have said that depending on how these do, they do have more on the back burner.
And I think
that makes me happy though.
I think part of the part now is that the timelines are not clearly defined for the most part for these spinoffs, because they could be happening 8 years after The Walking Dead ended. They could be happening 5 years after. They could be happening 2 weeks after. And it's not explicitly stated in the spinoffs when the stuff is happening. So right now, I know someone had mentioned cameos of other characters. I don't think you're going to see that too much with the spinoffs, because once you do that, once you have a character from another show make an appearance on one of the spinoffs right now, it would be very hard for you to take that back and potentially not spoil something from the other show, or have them say or do something that now you have to commit to in the future if that other show takes place in the future. And it would make it would be very hard for the writers to kind of
balance all that.
Yeah.
Well, you had mentioned the MCU before, and they kind of did that in the MCU too with, spoiler alerts come out 5 years ago, whatever, in Endgame when Black Widow dies, and then a year or two later you have the Black Widow movie that took place a few years prior or just before, not recently before that. So they were kind of pigeonholed a little bit and forced into a corner and like have to go this route. So it's kind of like you're saying with the cameos with The Walking Dead, it's kind of a similar aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that eventually you're going to see the timelines starting to be more clearly defined. If they want to go the route of doing some kind of culmination, which I think is 50-50 whether they will or not. But if they do, I think you'll start to see the timelines clearly defined when all this stuff is happening, as a way of setting the stage for that to happen. But right now, the fact that they haven't said that Dead City happened 6 years after the end, the series finale of Walking Dead, and Daryl Dixon happened, 4 years after, I think they're doing that very intentionally, because by not defining it, they're allowing themselves a little bit more freedom down the road if they want to try to write the shows in a specific direction. I think that's why the timelines have not been defined the way that they have.
Dead City, we kind of have a little bit of an inkling of how long it's been, because just going based on Herschel's age.
I mean, we know he's
Yeah.
Do they? I mean,
a rough estimate. I'm not saying exactly.
Yeah, but they don't say his specific
I heard there were
right?
several. No, they I feel like it was like I said several different things, either between 5 and 7 years. But there, I mean, even in interviews, like Lauren Cohen would say, "Oh, it's been approximately," and someone else would say, "Oh, it's been 5." So it was hard to kind of gauge by his age. But yeah, I see what you're saying. We do at least. I mean, obviously he's a teenager.
Yeah, that's kind of what.
He's in some age of that. So plus his attitude, he's a teenager.
Yeah.
So they were talking about Okafor. Craig Tate, he was amazing, and that's what I wanted to ask you all. Who in the first episode, who was your favorite newly introduced character?
Okay, character, Thorne. Moment in the episode, Okafor's death.
My favorite character is a person for a couple of reasons, and one is because of the actor, and I love the actor, but I mean it has to be Beale. I mean, I don't know, I love him as an actor, and I think that he absolutely knows more than he's letting on. For him to ask such a pointed question about Okafor says a lot, and I think that I really think that he's gonna be one of, if not the big bad. So I'm very excited to see him bring in a villain element to the show.
I'm gonna throw before Chris answers. I just thought of something. What if Beale shot down the helicopter, and Michonne just happened to be in the area?
I'm so glad you said that, because that was my thought too. I was like, wow, he got taken out by his own people, because
how would Michonne's group, they are, I mean, like, we don't know a lot about them yet. I mean, like, it's that caravan group from the end of season 10, you know, because Bailey and Aiden are with them and all that, and they're very I don't know, just things I've read. I don't know. But anyways, I don't think they'd have the technology, is what I'm trying to say, to have a thing go into someone and then toast them like that. So anyway, go ahead, Chris. Favorite character.
On that note.
In this episode alone?
Yeah, just a new character in episode 1. Who was your favorite new character? We had like 4.
I think I mentioned it before. I love a good, strong female lead. You know, Lauren is definitely probably my new favorite character. Michonne, you guys know, has always been, ever since her comic book introduction, she was always she's been my favorite since her introduction. I mean, I lived for that day when she was introduced. But I'm gonna, I like seeing. I think she's a good compliment to Rick, as far as she has his back, but yet, like, she has his back knowing that what he's doing is suicide. Literally, like, he's either trying to kill himself, or his attempts to leave multiple times is either going to lead to him getting killed, or he's going to kill himself fighting for, like, what he's trying to fight for. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely have to say it's her. And as far as Beale, Beale to me is the big bad in this whole series.
100%.
He's been the big bad since World Beyond. Because he definitely took down Omaha. I mean,
that was all him. Yeah.
And I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah, I mean, actually, when the helicopter went down, I was like, well, who? Like, I mean, then Michonne appears and whatever, weapons they have or whatever. But, and was Rick pilot of that helicopter?
Yeah.
He was, right? So, like, I'm like, oh, now he can fly a helicopter.
Helicopter boy.
That was the helicopter.
Why not just steal a helicopter and leave?
But think about it, right? I mean, he's had years with the CRM at this point, right? I mean, he's had plenty of time to learn how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
You got Renee?
I don't know.
I think that's something to say.
No, I was gonna say, I was thinking it's been like 7 years, and he kind of, when he put all that stuff in the fire and he did all that, that was saying goodbye to his previous life, and so he gave up at that point. Like, he
was committed.
Yeah, and so I'm Rick Grimes. I'm gonna do whatever I do, 100%, 110%, and that's what I'm doing now. So yeah, it's it'll be very I'm very excited to see where this goes.
Yeah. I think the way they left it off, obviously, with the cliffhanger, and now we get to see her side of it. Wondering, like, are they gonna end her episode the same way that they ended episode 1 with them?
That's what I think. I think it's gonna culminate to that. But and maybe we're going to see a little bit more. Well, I think maybe we'll see a little bit, maybe, like,
right.
They take their masks off and maybe we get a little interaction between them instead of just cut to black kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like 3/4 Michonne's story, 1/4 them, kind of.
Yeah, something like, maybe not even that much. I don't know. And then episode 3, I kind of feel like we're going to see something different, because
it'll be a standalone episode.
Or like Jada's backstory, something, what I mean? Like, because we haven't introduced her yet. Just because we know 4 was written by Denai, and everyone has, even AMC has said that that's the kind of Rashone, story. So, we could see a little bit of them maybe, but I don't think we're going to see like good, Rick and Michonne till episode 4, I believe. That's my opinion. I'm often wrong. So I just whatever comes to my head,
I gotta tell you guys. So a couple of my friends went to the event in New York City, and like they got to meet Andy and Denai. So after the episode, he went around and started signing autographs, and my friends go up to him, and he literally looks at them and goes, "Did you guys really like it? Like, was it good?" And everybody was like, what are you talking about? Like, it was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And they just thought it was so cute that he was like second guessing
Making
himself.
sure,
almost.
yeah.
Yeah, like, are you guys
It's been a
sure?
while. Did I do okay?
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
thought it was so cute.
Well, it's a show that he got to sit back and watch get beat up after he left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure in the back of his mind, it's something where he's cautious of, you know.
Well, another thing is Andrew Lincoln doesn't watch himself in The Walking
Right.
Dead, but he has to now because he's executive producing. He has to watch it and do the work, you know. So I'd read someone had interviewed him and he said that this is the first time he's watched himself be Rick Grimes, you know. So and I wanted to mention quick, I didn't say my favorite character. I liked all of them that were introduced, but I loved Esteban because he was such we didn't mention him, but he was such a comedic relief. Like we had this horrible scene with Rick, and then he comes out and he's like wanting to touch his stump, you know, aka or just like a la Milton and Herschel, you know, Herschel's like, buy me dinner first kind of thing, you know, just like love all those nods. But I love the friendship there because he even tells him that he goes, for years you didn't talk to me, you wouldn't say anything to anybody, and now look at us, we're friends, you know. And then he puts his job on the line when he gives Rick that information because I mean, you know, he was excited to put in his 6 years and then be able to go be with his girl, the journalist, and everything inside the city and all that. And you know, he could have gotten into trouble.
Sure.
You know,
he's like, I wouldn't tell someone.
Yes, cool. I love that.
That was a great way of explaining
it. And I definitely
it.
wouldn't tell you the pin code is.
Yeah.
And the funny, if you, I don't know how you say it. I'm not going to even try to say his last name, the actor. It's Frankie, and it starts with a QU, and I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to butcher it. But he is a stand-up comedian, and I've watched some clips. This man is funny. And then he does this thing called Cholo Fit. And it's exercises. And he's Creeper, and it is so funny. So watch those things and look. And he actually is going out on tour, his stand-up tour starting March 8th, I want to say. He's got like 5 or 6 different locations he's going to do his stand-up around. But he's a comedian, and he is really, really funny. I was just dying watching little clips of some of his stuff. So watch him if you get a chance.
That makes sense now, seeing how much of a relief he was.
I put the
yes, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah,
because I don't know how you say. I just butcher it. But go ahead, Nate.
Quinones?
And I that's kind of in my head, but I was like,
yeah,
there is an accent on one of the letters, but I don't remember which one now.
Probably the N.
Oh wait, he was in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, he had a part in that. Oh, and he's in a series called This Fool, and I guess it's hilarious. And I'm not sure what it airs on, but when I was researching him, people just rave about it, but I don't think it got another season.
Who did he play in What We Do in the Shadows? Hold on.
Yeah, I feel like it was just one episode.
He played Miguel. Oh, he plays what's his name's brother.
I haven't watched it all, so I don't know.
It's a great show. It's
Joy loved it. Show. So This Fool that Esteban actor stars in, it actually airs on Hulu. It had 2 seasons, and then it was canceled. But I guess it's hilarious. So
all right.
Yeah,
Hulu's the app I use the most, so I'll definitely watch it.
I haven't watched anything. Told you guys, I've been watching Disney.
Yeah. Hey, that's I miss that though, because like I see on
Bluey.
I miss watching the kids shows.
Oh, wait till Blippi.
Wait till Miss Rachel.
I've seen Miss Rachel. I don't know if I can hang with Miss Rachel.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
Yeah,
but Blippi, luckily, is when they're a little bit older. You can walk out of the room.
Blippi's a little weird for my taste.
Good. It's great for the kids though. He's very informative. He teaches them. My granddaughter, she would come and be like, Gigi, guess what Blippi taught? I'm like, who's Blippi?
Blippi.
Yeah. Your imaginary friend? I don't.
Apparently, there's some controversy with the guy who plays Blippi. Not appropriate for this conversation.
I'm legit gonna I'm gonna download all the Blues Clues with Steve, and then that'll be like it. I'm good.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Joy, we went to Atlanta Comic-Con last year, and Joy got to meet Steve. She brought her original handy dandy notebook and had him autograph it.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
This is, dude.
Awesome.
This was the one that all 3 of my children played with. You know.
Yeah.
He is like the nicest guy. He I met him at Fan Expo, and my friend was like, I'll do anything you tell me to. He made us sing the Rainbow Connection, like with him at the stand up. We're like, okay, I think it was the Rainbow Connection, but some song. It was perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yes, Blue's Clues is classic.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna only the old stuff. I can't.
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
New,
You don't.
none of this new shit.
No.
The newest thing we've watched is Spidey and Friends, and it's like
That's
I heard
cute.
that was good.
yes, yeah,
I like that.
Adorable.
I like the little girl, like with her little hoodie.
Gwen,
and
yeah, it's all
yeah.
Gwen, yeah.
Yeah. Nope.
Spider-Gwen.
Yes,
They got
I love her.
Miles, they got Gwen, and then they have original, little Spidey, little Peter.
Yeah, and they have action figures you can get to play with because when my grandson was younger, I bought them all because I liked them.
Yeah, I can sit there and watch it. I think it's the most entertaining thing ever. But that's me.
Well, you like Marvel too, so that helps.
Of course, yeah. I can't wait until I can sit him down and like actually watch Marvel with him and be like, you will grow up loving Iron Man.
When he gets a little older, make sure you watch X-Men 97.
Yeah, I have already started. Been watched like the first 2 seasons almost already.
So yeah, what else new have you guys? I know Chris hasn't watched anything but kids shows, but what about you? Ryan, Meg, anything new you're watching?
I fell in love with the show The Rookie.
Oh,
because it's so like Nathan Fillion, basically he has like a midlife crisis and he decides he wants to become a cop at 40 something.
Yeah,
goes to LA, becomes a cop, and he's like the oldest rookie. I was home when I was home for like 3 weeks. I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? There were days where I watched the show for 8 hours straight. It was so good, and now I'm caught up, and I gotta wait for the weekly episode. So it's like I'm like, oh man.
Nice.
Who else? Like, so Demetrius Gross is in that from Fear. Who else? There's a Walking Dead person in that. And like how many seasons is there
in The Rookie? They just started season 6.
Because I know Demetrius Gross that played.
Oh God, what's his name from the one who played in? I think it was season 9 or 10. One something. The one that killed Sadiq. He was in an episode.
Oh yeah. That I just recently read somebody, and that was
and
Carl. I can't remember his name.
And Caitlin Aiken's boyfriend was in an episode.
Okay, maybe yeah. Anyway,
Xavier.
I just when you said that, it just reminded me of somebody in it. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Sorry,
it's okay.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah, that's I canceled my cable, so now I'm finding all these new shows that I never got to experience before. That and The Neighborhood, which was Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh, okay. What about you, Ryan?
My 2 primaries as of recently was Avatar: The Last Airbender, for obvious reasons, which I loved it. I can't wait for season 2. Very excited for that. And I've been addicted to The Crown on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh.
I fell off at I forget what episode, but the first several episodes is really good.
Yeah, I'm on I just started season 4. And I just got to a part where a member of the royal family was, and the way that they did it and explained some of the historical tensions between Ireland and England was pretty cool, and the way that they handled it was it's just so well written. And I've always been fascinated by history, but like never particularly anything to do with the royal family. But my best friend Danielle was like, "You gotta watch The Crown, it's amazing." And I'm like, "Nah, it's stupid. I'm fine, whatever." And she's like, "Just watch one episode, I promise." And I'm like, "All right, fine." And actually, Matt Smith is in it, and once I saw him, I was just like,
he does such a good job.
That's it.
He does such a good job, and I forgot the actress's name that played the Queen in the first.
Is it Claire Foy?
Claire Foy.
I love her.
Yeah.
Oh.
And because they change actors every 2 seasons.
Yeah, just to age them up.
Yeah, and I just thought they did such a great job, and I'm addicted. I'm just. and
when I was sick years ago, and I started watching it, and I'm like researching all these people to figure out how they fit, and so I learned so much historically. Like it was really fun to learn all that history and stuff, and yeah. I know I started.
No, I was just gonna say because it gives you, and what's really cool about it is before Queen Elizabeth passed away, she had caught up to most of of the show, and she had actually said how crazy accurate it was. And what's cool about it is I had always seen history as an American, right? Obviously, because
Yeah.
raised in America, and you get certain preconceived notions about different historical figures, and then you learn things about them, and it adds such a complexity to it that's really cool. I've always been a big fan of Winston Churchill and the things that he did in World War II, and the fact, I mean, his nickname was the man who saved Britain, like that, like, or saved London. But then, like, finding out that he was actually an avid painter, and finding out that he also had like 8 strokes towards the end of his life, and he hid it, and still was a prime minister. He lost the prime ministry and then won it back, and continued to be the prime minister of England up until he, like, basically couldn't do it anymore, and then he died shortly thereafter. But, like, finding out all this stuff, I was like, it is so cool learning about all these different people. Learning about, like, Prince Charles and the complexities that he went through with his father and his mother. And there was an episode, I'm not going to spoil anything, but he had an interaction with Queen Elizabeth, and he was like, he's like, for once I would like you to be my mother and not the queen. And she goes, unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. And she goes, I'm always the queen. And I was just like, and Charles, you could see how defeated the actor was, and I'm just like, holy shit, like, that's so cool.
It was,
You like Family Guy, right?
I love
like
Family
that
Guy.
style. Okay, so there was this show, I think it was only maybe like 8 or 10 episodes, on HBO Max called The Prince. It was basically life focusing on Prince George and how like all the trials and tribulations of the royal family.
Yeah.
Like at one point, Meghan and Harry moved to Hollywood, and Harry like tips the driver like a $1 million ring or something like that. And he has to try to get like a real job. So she wants to join like the Real Housewives. But you might like that show.
I'll have to check that out, yeah.
Renee, what have you been watching?
Peaky Blinders. I cannot stop.
Oh my god, I love it. That was good.
I just keep. I mean, that show is so
Watched it a while ago.
crazy. Yeah, like, it's one of those ones where I love Cillian Murphy. He's amazing, and I just knew I would love it. That kind of thing. But just, I don't know, never did. So I started watching, and then I just haven't been able to stop. I'm on season 3, I think, already, and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. But I love it. It's really good.
I'm waiting for like a lot of the Taylor Sheridan stuff to come out.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, like, watching. I want to. I know that Mayor of Kingstown, I think, came out with another season already. But I'm waiting for Tulsa King to come out. I love Stallone and Tulsa King. I mean, so I'm waiting for all that stuff to come back out.
Yeah.
Wait, Mayor of Kingston came out with the 2nd season already? I thought they were just working on it.
Pretty sure it came out. Unless I might have read the ad wrong. I don't know. It's hard to do
I thought it was.
these days.
Yeah, I thought it was delayed because of his accident.
Oh, yeah, I think they talked about filming because he was ready to start filming, maybe. That's maybe what it was.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And, have you guys watched True Detective at all?
I need to. I heard this season was really good.
Well, I watched the first season, which was forever ago. It came out, like, I forget what year it was, but it's Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Yes.
It is so flipping good. Oh my gosh, we loved it. And then and it's anthology, so you can watch it in any order. The seasons are all, individual,
self-contained.
Yeah. What?
No, I'm talking to the baby.
Oh, okay. And I've heard the current season's like way different but phenomenal. But anyways, the first season was so good. Yeah, it was really, really good. It was just, and the story's just crazy,
Did you see season 2 yet?
No, we just finished
you
one.
Might not like season 2.
Okay.
It's kind of not universally panned, but very disliked by a lot of people. I liked it, but
yeah. Well, I usually don't go by what everybody says. I watch it and make my own, because like,
same.
There's been so many times people are like, this is garbage. And I'm like, I love it. Oh, and I think it's on Netflix. The Boy Who Swallowed the World. Have you guys watched that?
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh my gosh. I just it came across it one day. I'm like, what is this? So I had COVID, I don't know how many weeks ago. And so I watched a lot of stuff during that time.
Oh, you got hit.
The first time, 4 years, I avoided it, and I got it bad because my asthma.
Oh, wow.
I was a mess. But anyway, watched a lot of TV. But it's like, I don't even know how to explain this story, but it's so good. I mean, I enjoyed it so much. So it's set in Australia, and do you know Brian Brown? He's like in Cocktails, and he's in a bunch of stuff, but I always remember him from Cocktails. But anyways, you probably would recognize him. He has a part in it. But everybody else, I think, were all new actors to me. I don't know for sure, but it was really, really good. So I recommend. It's kind of I don't even know, a family drama, but lots of comedy and things in it. I don't know. But anyways, I think it's on Netflix.
I've also been obsessed lately with the game, not a game show, but it's like reality competition show, The Traitors.
Never heard of it.
It's on Peacock. So you know the game Werewolf?
Mm-mm.
So basically there's a group of like, I think it was like 22 people. They pick 3 traitors, quote unquote, and the rest are faithfuls. The faithfuls don't know who the traitors are. So every night the traitors kill someone. And every episode the faithfuls are trying to vote the traitors out. But every episode they're all working together to try to win money. If any traitor makes it to the final episode, the traitors steal all the money. But if it's just faithfuls that make it to the finale, they split the money. It is so good. The new episode premieres in like a half hour. I'm so excited for it because it left on a massive cliffhanger. First season had a mixture of like real people and celebrities. Season 2 is just like reality TV stars. And you know I love my reality TV. So I have been so hooked. Everything from housewives to people from The Challenge, Survivor, Big Brother. It's been so good.
Interesting. Another one we watched was Reacher. I'd never watched Reacher before either.
I'm about to start that.
It's so good.
Okay, he's hot. Oh, I just dropped something.
He's gimungo. That man is enormous.
But he's like a giant teddy bear, though.
Yeah.
Did you see him on, was it Jimmy Fallon or Seth Meyers? He was telling the story about he saw somebody breaking into a car, and he's like chasing him, and like he just like throws him against a building, and he's doing it with a big smile on his face.
Yeah, but the first season was really good, and then we just recently started the second season. So
trying to figure out what I dropped. I dropped my phone.
I did watch Code 8 Part 2 on Netflix last night. That was really good. Code 8 has it stars Robbie and Stephen Amell, and Stephen Amell is the Green Arrow, and Robbie Amell is his cousin. They did Code 8 Part 1 a while ago, and Part 2 just came out, and it was so freaking good. It was such a good movie, and I mean, there's people even like speculating that because of the way that 2 ended, that there's going to be a Part 3, and I'm fucking hoping so. And it's cool because it's all about it's like it takes place in the very close future, and it's where people have special abilities and their classifications of abilities. Like Robbie's character is he's called an electric, and he has like shock based powers. And then there's people who are like called transmuters or something like that, and they can communicate with technology. There's pyros that and their classifications like class 1 through 5, and depending on like the higher the number, the stronger of a I forgot what they call them. They call them like powereds or something like that. And like the higher the number, the stronger the powered you are. And there's like there's a drug that is taken that is basically they take spinal fluid from a powered spine, and they turn it into a drug, and it gives people like this crazy high, and it's like the whole premise of the show. It's really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
Did you know you mentioned Stephen Amell, right? Did you see Josh McDermott got cast with him in a Suits spinoff?
I did see that. Yes,
I saw that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that was exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched Suits, but now I want to.
Yeah. Now it's like, okay, now I gotta watch it so I can watch the other, But yeah. And I just wanted to mention quick that the camp is having their event this May. So if people get your tickets. A lot of the stuff sold out. They're having the guest list is crazy this year. I can't believe all the people that are going to be there. And I mean, and Josh McDermott's going to be there, who hasn't done an American convention since 2018. Yeah. And, Lenny James will be there. A lot of return ones as well, but there's several new ones. So that's, exciting. So anyway, and it's some of the special events will start on Friday this year. So it starts I think in the afternoon on Friday, so that they can have a little more thing and a little more time for those special events, so that you can spend, more quality time with your favorites. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So just giving them a little plug, because we will be doing panels again this year. So very exciting. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. All right, I think that's all we got.
We
for
lost
tonight.
Chris.
Yeah,
I think baby duty.
Oh,
yeah. Yep. I think they were. Yeah. So. Yeah, got to put the little one to bed.
Well, not bad for our first episode back in 4 months.
Yeah,
no, we actually did pretty good.
Thank you all for. Yeah, there's so many of you in the chat. We love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking it out. I know we did our disappearing act, but I think it's also good because it not that this becomes a burden or anything like that, but it's hard to coordinate everything and sit here and talk for an hour and a half, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy out of you, so it's good to take a break and reset every once in a while. So we appreciate you guys coming back and hanging out with us. I'm not a man of many words, to do this. So yeah, right?
Yeah, I think that was a good way to close the show. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you all, and just keep watching, and we'll tell you when the next one is.
I'm sure Renee will do a great job, and she'll put it out there when we finally decide when we're going to do this next week. Probably same time, same place, but we will let you guys know. And I think we're good. All right,
works for me.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Whoa, hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry. Subscribe and like if you can, please. Or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.